Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Yesterday I was going into Denver to deliver a load, and I was passing another truck driver, and as I was passing him, he suddenly was drifting into my lane. Kind of happened very fast, and I swerved to avoid getting in this collision with this guy, and I went off road. And at that moment I thought this could be it. You know, I could have rolled the truck, I could have went into oncoming traffic on the other side of the highway there. That could have been such a dangerous, fatal. I could have been gone just like that. That just happened the other day. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, is the stress of the job, you know, the dangers of the job also. But you know, the stress of the job. Things almost getting into a fatal accident at work is definitely well up there with stress, frustration. I wasn't expecting that. Of course, we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know when our time is gonna be. You know, we should be ready spiritually, of course. I believe that. We need to be praying and just be very mindful of everything and not be just living life. You know, we got to be aware, because there's many dangers in life. But you know, in trucking there's a lot of dangers, and you know, it's one of the top 10 most dangerous jobs here. It's like 7 times more than the average, and every 100,000 drivers there's 25 to 30 that die every year in this job. And it's a lot of the reasons are they're trying to avoid someone else, like what I did the other day, trying to avoid that collision. They go off road, they roll, or they get in an accident. So it could happen like that in an instant. Everything could change. So, but the stress of this job could really get to you. And if you don't know how to deal with it, it's very difficult. But like a lot of times I got upset because like them tailgating me, and it was mostly truck drivers. It wasn't, four-wheelers did some things, but it was more truck drivers that got me upset than anybody else. I think they were the most reckless, the most dangerous on the road is other truck drivers. So that's what caused me to be frustrated, angry, upset, is being in traffic with them when they're very maneuvers are, you know, very dangerous. You know, coming really close to me as they're passing. That's one of those things I hated. And then even, you know, just a lot of stuff like that. Those kind of things would really get to me. So I try my best to not take it personal, and to try to not think about it, or start fuming because they did something stupid or reckless. And how there's sometimes you just can't avoid it. You have to, I mean, it's right there. It's the dangers of this job. Many things we can't avoid, but how we deal with it is important. So I mean, breathing techniques like 4 seconds in, hold it for 4 seconds, and then breathe out in 4 seconds. And just try to calm down. As that's important, breathing techniques. Another thing is exercise. We don't get enough exercise as truck drivers, so walking, lifting weights, exercising, moving our body, get our blood flowing, that's important. But learning how to deal with stress is so important on this job. This is one of the big reasons why I want to leave trucking, is the stress and the danger of reckless drivers. I'm a good driver. I'm a very cautious driver. I'm courteous on the road. I try to let people in. I'm not trying to speed up and make them, I try to slow down, I move over. I want to be as friendly and courteous as I can to whoever it is, truck drivers, four-wheelers. Not trying to cause any problems on the road. Just trying to do my job. Keep everyone else safe on the road also. Yeah, it could be a challenge sometimes though to stay level-headed, because a lot of people that are driving, dealing with their own stuff, their own stress, their own road rage, anger, whatever, problems with the family, their wife or their husband or their kids or whatever's going on, their bills, their money. A lot of problems come up, and they're driving reckless because of their emotional state, so that makes the job that much more dangerous and stressful. But not trying to give in to those road rage or anger and all that frustration and the stress. Stress is one of the biggest ones, because also the cortisol. We don't already as truck drivers, we're sitting all the time. We should be there's a way station up here. Got to get in this lane. That cortisol affects our bodies gain weight from this cortisol, a stress hormone. So having to lower our stress is a real skill you need in truck driving, honestly. So I've been at this 8 years. But sometimes I feel so burnt out from the job. That's why I want to study. That's why I am studying for IT. I'm learning the cybersecurity. I'm learning the AI. All these things that I need to do to be prepared to change a career. Alright, it's closed. Yeah, the stress of being alone, being away from the family, your loved ones. There's other truckers out there. If you wanna make a change, you can. You don't have to stay in this trucking forever. I don't believe you should anyway. Level up, get into something, because it's a toll on our health also. And they say as truck drivers, this road, our life expectancy is like way down there. I thought I heard them say 57 or below that. It's all about how you're eating, you're exercising, and I think it is the stress. I believe it is the stress. That's one of the big factors in health decline, all that stuff. Because your emotions, when you're stressed out, what do you want to do? You want to eat. You're depressed, you want to eat. It's an emotional thing. I've experienced. I gained a lot of weight years ago because I was depressed. I was lonely, so I ate more. That was the comfort part of eating, was ordering a pizza, ordering Chinese food, or whatever it was. Food was a comfort. But stress, that's a big part of this job. It's a big reason why I want to leave trucking. Yeah, life in general is already stressful. But yeah, driving a truck, it could make you a mean person. You could be a very negative person after a long time, even after a short time. But there's different avenues we could take. We don't have to stay in this industry forever. And if you're interested, if you want to do what I'm doing, I learned you don't have to have a college degree to get into computer and tech or cybersecurity or networking or AI, all this stuff that is the future. Because a lot of this AI is taking over a lot of jobs. Even this job right now, this trucking job, is not safe from AI. They have the autonomous trucks for many years now. Of course, all their sensors, I don't know if they could drive in the wintertime. All their sensors are rain. Even these sensors on my truck now, they get a little rain and it knocks out sensor. So, I don't know how they're going to do all this, but even trucking is not safe. And they don't even have to have a truck. They could have self-driving trailers. I seen that. Self-driving trailers. That's a different one I never seen, but that's out there. That technology is already out there. So AI is taking over. But learning AI, learning how to protect against attacks on our water, our electricity, or I'm interested in those kind of things, because everything is running on cyber computers. So everything on computers, and to protect against cyber attacks, to look for vulnerabilities. Those kind of things, is a skill I think is very worth having in this day and age. Learning AI, how to use it, is important. Another thing that's stressful is these roads. Yeah, there's some roads there's places that are just horrible. I mean, I've been to a lot of different places that are very bad. But yeah, dealing with stress on this job, how to deal with it is, we all should know how to do it. Even if you're not in trucking, you should know how to deal with stress and all this frustration, things like that. So, that's a big thing we gotta deal with in our mental health. You know, being positive. You know, things are rapidly changing in this world. You know, the price of fuel it's so expensive. You know, we got high cost fuel right now. We got wars. Everybody's on edge politically. I mean, Democrats, Republicans, illegals, crime, drugs, cartels, human trafficking. There's just a bunch of just stuff going on. And it could cause stress. It could cause real stress or real anxieties, you know, the frustration, the anger. You just see a lot of bad things in this world. How even some people get away with a lot of things. That's gotten to me. Yeah, on this job, it's stressful, and we just got to learn how to deal with it in a healthy way, you know. And if you could do that, you could pray, you could sleep right, eat right, think right, exercise, you know, drink enough water. You know, you're gonna be good. But yeah, the stress is going to be there. Whether we like it or not, it's going to be there. How we deal with it is the big thing. So that's one thing I want to get out. Trucking is the stress. It seems like a never-ending issue. Always the stress. Just imagine these guys like this truck drivers that's hauling this oversized load. That has to be stressful. Imagine something goes wrong because it's so heavy. The tires or something gets broken, needs to get fixed. Imagine that. I mean, that's stress. Job's not easy. There's a lot of different. I was in the oil field. A lot of that was very stressful. Trying to work with equipment that didn't even tell me how much water I was pulling into the whole tank. You had to time it. There should be gauges on it to show you how much water is in there, not timing it to the middle or a minute or whatever, because you're trying to get, either you're not filling up all the way or you're overfilling it and you could spill it on the ground, which is a hazmat issue. So I mean, that the oil field, a lot of different jobs in trucking are very stressful. But yeah, these guys probably get really good money. I mean, the money's good, but the the stress. But it could be a really good life too, you know? If you know how to deal with it, or if you're not always in it, or if you know how to deal with it in good ways, you get some vacation time, or those kind of things like that could really help you to help these guys to deal with the stress of the job. But yeah, we just gotta take it easy. A lot of these drivers are such in a hurry, and we do have to have a level of patience in this job, which is not easy. Sometimes it could be hard, especially when we're on the clock and we only have a certain amount of time in the day to do all these things. We can't just hurry through everything and try to get there the fastest or whatever. There's always a delay or something like that we have to deal with. We just gotta take it one day at a time, whatever it is in our job, we gotta be safe. We gotta keep others safe. That's very important, keeping others safe on the road. Being courteous, being professional, I believe in those things. We should treat others good no matter what. But yeah, dealing with this job, dealing with the many different things that come with the job, it could be very stressful. So new drivers out there, that's heads up about that. But I appreciate you listening. Please subscribe, comment. Thanks for watching. Take care.